Aho to ye travellers, cometh young, cometh old. 'Tis adventure we seek for the meek and the bold. A knight and a wizard who drink smashes sour have a magic crusade for you this questing hour.
Happy travelers!
I love that we both go.
We gotta prep ourselves.
Yeah, big inhale and then a huge hello.
Huge exhale with excitement.
Well, happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Questing Hour podcast.
Of course.
We're getting into season 1.2. And we have a bunch of new stuff coming your way. So that's kind of what we're talking about today, is all the new stuff that we're going to get into.
Yeah. I mean, last season we talked about our purpose in starting this podcast and where we were going to kind of take that journey. And similarly, we want to do the same thing. You know what the podcast is about now. You know who me and Maggie are, and you know what the deal is around here. So we've had a lot of things, like especially last season, where we made a joke of it, but we were often like, let's put a pin in it and we'll come back to it. And we're kind of coming back to some of those things this season. And switching up the deal now that our journey with the Heroes Quest has come to an end. Another door has opened for us, and we have a new plan for this little season here for the next few months.
Yeah, I'm so excited to finally do all the things that we've been talking about for so long. I feel like we're really getting the hang of this whole podcasting creative project kind of thing.
Absolutely.
We know what's up now, and now we're ready to, branch out, try some more things. It's going to be a lot of fun.
My favorite thing about content creation is just like meeting and hearing from all the people, like all their own ideas and the ways that I know I've mentioned this previously before, but I had someone come to me and talk about how they decided to listen to our podcast and said how much it was actually helpful to them, and we were funny and we made them laugh, and it helped them actually like get up and do something. And I was like, that feels so great. And what better way to do that than by also having people come on the podcast to talk to us.
Yeah.
So that is going to be one of the biggest changes.
Yeah, this season we're going to call some experts, some guests, bring them in, let them tell their stories, and we'll talk to them about our stories, and we'll just gain a lot of new perspectives about different things. And I am so excited about that. We have some people in mind that we've been reaching out to. So you guys will be hearing from some of our friends, some of our podcast colleagues, some of our old-timey experts. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have a wide range of people who have different focuses, who are other types of creators all around the board. And we kind of Maggie and I created like a little list of questions. Of course, we're going to ask them person-specific questions, but we wanted to share some thoughts on what adventure and questing looks like for other people in other areas of life, and kind of share perspectives, because that's something that we talked about a lot was changing your mindset, shifting your perspective. And what better way to do that than actually to hear more than just Maggie and I's perspectives, Maggie and I's thoughts. We could sit here and talk to you guys all day, every day, and we will. We're certified yappers.
Yes, we are.
But, what better way to hear and see these perspectives than actually getting these people on the podcast and having them tell you themselves. Yeah. So I'm really excited who we can get. So excited. I'm definitely going to shoot our shot a little bit here when we message some of these people to see if we can get them to kind of cameo a little bit. Yeah. Some of them are TikTok creators or book writers and other bigger content creators. But, whether or not we do get them on here, I definitely think that they're all amazing creators and should be looked at. So if we can't get certain people on here, I definitely will share them on our socials and otherwise. But I am going to shoot our shot, because why the heck not? Why the heck not?
Yeah.
Bold strokes.
And if you guys have anyone that you want to see on our podcast, or if you guys want to come and talk about anything that you're interested in that relates to the Questing Hour, we would love to have you on. Just shoot us a message on social media, talk to us in person if you know us personally, send us like a carrier pigeon. I don't know. Just let us
Carrier
know.
pigeon.
Let us know.
Give
We
me
would,
give me an owl.
right. Send me like a subliminal message. We'll get it. We will get
Waiting to receive.
it. My signals are open.
Waves are clear.
The waves are clear, guys. Just send me a little thought, and
Yeah.
I will get it.
So we're definitely really excited to have
Yeah.
some guests on here and laugh some more and be ridiculous, of course.
Of course, as always.
I will say one of the first prominent changes y'all probably noticed was actually our color scheme. Our title page change, our social profiles is a bit different. We have adjusted them a while back in the season. Y'all know that Maggie and I made business cards for the podcast to kind of hand out and help market ourselves a bit, because essentially that's kind of what, you know, being a social media presence is marketing ourselves for, you know, the public, for the presence of people. And this is part of that. And so this is kind of what our new vibe and logo is. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time we change it, possibly, but this is what we're going to stick to for right now.
Yeah, I really like it. I love that branding. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Nice and easy. Easy on the eyes.
It's
looks
beautiful.
good.
Pink and red is like my favorite color combo. It's just so sweet.
It's like an unsuspecting combo too.
Right?
Like it kind of sneaks up on you, because when I think of good combos, my first thought is not pink and red. Right?
Because you're like, oh, they're too close together, it won't look good. But
yeah, exactly. But it's just it's subtle in a nice way. And like
and
the lettering is kind of violet, and then we got the little blue here that you can't see in the camera, but it's just a little touch of stuff, and it works. It works.
It works very well. I like it a lot.
So that is the most obvious of changes, but I didn't want to. I wanted to point it out before we forgot about it.
Yeah, it's still us. We're still the same old us.
We're still us, guys. Don't worry.
Just different colors.
Same knight and wizard that you met in season 1.
You've always known. I love that we kind of just like claimed those as our personas, because it works so well.
I know. Maggie was like, when Maggie designed our first cover for the Spotify and for our accounts and stuff, and she was like, "Do you want to be a knight with me, or like a princess or a wizard?" And I was like, "You already know I'm a wizard, baby. I'm a wizard." Yeah. So that's where that came from. Maggie made us into knights and wizards, but we definitely cling to them, and I feel like they fit our personas a bit.
I feel
especially
like
as like a Gryffindor Ravenclaw combo.
Oh, for sure.
We went to the Ren Fair as a knight and a fairy. Like, you know,
you're always more the I'm
mystical, always the magical. More yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, stab first, ask questions later.
I was gonna say the more hands-on kind of person, but stab first also works.
Yeah.
So you might hear us refer to ourselves as Knight and Wizard probably 100 times this season.
Brand new theme song.
in our brand new theme song.
It's us. I'm the knight. She's the wizard. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the time this episode comes out, you would have heard it at the beginning of this episode. Actually.
Oh my gosh, we're so cool.
Oh my god. And y'all saw that process of us making it Monday, and you know, hopefully you liked that video, and if not, that's okay. It's not for everybody, because the creative process can be long and tiring and confusing. And not just y'all, but I'm sure, you know, Maggie has edited it in her magical, beautiful ways to make it entertaining enough for all of us.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So as funny as we are, I'm sure that our silence was even funnier.
Right.
Because we were struggling.
I'm almost positive we sat in silence for like 20 minutes trying to come up with a rhyme for the word seek.
I'm more
it was
like
good.
I think the funniest thing that still is in my head is when both of us are sitting there like power, flower, hour, like just flower, devour.
Yeah. And we're like sour.
We said flower like 100 times, probably.
Flower. Knowing full well we were not going to use the word flower.
Not a single time.
Man, we're good at this.
We're just too good.
As professionals. That's the creative process.
Absolutely. No, truly, seriously.
Mhm.
When me and Maggie record these episodes, we definitely talk for like 30 minutes before and after every
And sometimes
time.
in the middle of it, and then we just cut
In
it
the
out.
middle, and then we have to cut the chunk out because we just get
Right.
so we
We're
just
like, okay, what next? What next? I
on and
know, yeah.
on, and like everything reminds us of something else, and we're
Yeah.
just always going.
Yeah. Mhm.
So for us to be sitting in silence that long, letting our gears turn,
We were going through it.
you know something is happening.
Yeah.
So I hope y'all enjoyed our jingle. We worked really freaking hard on it.
It was a lot of fun. We put our hearts and souls into it.
Hearts and souls.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of us because like
I know.
one of the things that when I was a kid, I was like, I'm just ambition and passion. Like I've always been super ambitious,
Mhm.
even though I don't have all of the necessary skills sometimes.
Yeah.
So like when I was a kid, I had this list, and it was like a list of everything I wanted to be and do when I grew up. And it was like, be in a magazine, be a singer songwriter, be a writer, publish a book,
yeah.
be an artist. And it was like, I wanted to do everything at least once. And now I can say I wrote a song. And I know that I mentioned on Monday how I did the EP. But I didn't actually, I didn't do all the instruments, and I wasn't like a singer. And this felt more like I was participating in it. And I was actually a part of the music. And, I know you did the chords, and I was like, wait.
But you
so
were
now
there,
I
you
can
wrote the
say I'm a
lyrics,
podcaster, lyricist, a musician, if you will.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's like my favorite thing about being a creative, which I feel like you and all the other creatives listening, it's like you can do whatever you want. You can try
Yeah.
every single form of art, and whichever one speaks to you, like you can stick with it, or you can keep doing a billion things for the rest of your life. Because like it's not you're not tied down to a specific medium. I was thinking about like I got a degree in theater and now I don't do anything with theater. So like what was the point of doing all that? And I was like,
no, I think about that all the time.
Yeah, and I was like, the point of doing the arts is to keep doing the arts. Like there's no winner or loser. It's all just artists who love it. Yeah.
And
I was like, I feel better now.
I feel better, thank you.
I feel better now. The point of doing theater is to keep doing theater. Yeah.
Yeah, I that's kind of how I feel because I got my degree in English, and I've been like beating myself up because I'm like, what am I supposed to do with an English degree? Because I don't have teaching under my belt. I don't have journalism technically in my degree, and it's just like certain things are limited to me, and it's so hard to get experience or find a job in those things. But like, I feel like some people are built in the mindset of like, oh, I'm already at this job, I might as well stay here for like ever. And like that's okay if that's how your brain works and if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a creative, it's so hard. It's almost hard on a different level where it's like we do have so many possibilities, but it's like, how do we go about doing these things? Because they are really endless and like they are unlimited with chances,
Right.
But Maggie and I were talking about this before we recorded about being like struggling, starving artists. Because like that's part of what being a creative is that that struggle is part of the thing. Like I published a book and I've sold 30 copies, but I'm technically a published author, but I am by no means rich.
Yeah.
And all of the marketing and everything I have to do on my own. And it's just one of those things where it's like you have to kind of figure it out, roll with the punches, and the universe will give you back whatever you are owed,
Yeah. Man, it's hard out here for artists, but I think I kind of love the term starving artist because like not only are they just like physically hungry, but they're also like emotionally they want so much.
Yes.
And they're willing to do whatever it takes to produce art and put it into the world. And I think that's just so beautiful that they're like, the world as it is not complete until my art is in it. And so they do it. And I just think it's so great. And I'm so glad to be a part of that community.
Truly. I remember thinking like the one thing that like wanted me to like fueled me into wanting to write or publish books was like thinking about how almost eternal art is and how things are like think of all the art that like we've already talked about on the podcast and all this stuff that we've looked at and analyzed and laughed at, these fart jokes that are going to live forever, essentially. And like that's so like almost magical and appealing. Like us as humans, we're mortal. Our lives are, you know, hanging by a thread that at any moment could be cut and we never know. But like art and the things that we leave behind is essentially forever. Is immortal in every capacity, and you never know what they're going to be doing with it in the future or down the line, like looking at it and analyzing it and enjoying it, and how many lives you can touch without ever even knowing any of them or even being alive yourself.
Right.
And that something about that is just so soul stirring.
Yeah. No, like my whole life, I'm like, all I want to do is leave a legacy behind. I want to be remembered. And so, you know, I put my heart and soul into all of these things. And I think that's why I love this podcast so much, is that we've already affected people's lives. Like they're already listening to us. And being affected by our words. And even if this is the only legacy that we leave behind, like
truly,
I think that's pretty good.
Worth it.
Right? Just
like seriously.
affect the life of somebody else. So even after you're gone,
you're
remembered by them. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. And you know, going off of that, like part of that is like, because especially with this podcast is the community that you can build and form around those things. Like you guys are the community that we just want nothing more than to grow with you and connect to more people. We have to think of a name to call everybody besides travelers.
I know.
Like what do we call our fans?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. We gotta figure it out.
We just gotta think of something. Sometimes I feel like it maybe comes natural, but I don't know. I feel like travelers is too like,
Yeah,
you know,
like you could just be a passerby if you're a traveler, but these are people that are like accepting the quests.
Yeah. We need quest acceptors. What do we call y'all?
Quest acceptors. Tell us,
quest
please, help
acceptors.
us.
Yeah, quest acceptors. Please tell us how you would like to be called.
How do you want to be addressed? Quest
how do you want to be addressed?
It's
just it doesn't flow off the tongue.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't like it.
I hate it.
we'll figure it out. Like adventurers could work. I don't hate adventurers, but if you guys have something better, tell us.
Yeah, if you guys can think of something more, I feel like more unique.
Yeah.
Than like, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like maybe like some sort of D&D term for something magical. I don't know.
Something magical. Please help us.
little sprites.
Our little sprites.
Accept your quest, little sprite.
Did
you do your quest today?
Little sprite. Did you do your widow quest?
Did you do your quest, you widow sprite?
I love it.
We'll get there. We'll think of something. But okay, so besides, you know, our music and our theme, you know, we do be yapping. But
of course.
Forgot what we were talking about. And having guests on our channel. You know, going back to talking about creative things, Maggie and I are also going to be branching out on some more creative things outside of the podcast that'll, you know, help kind of aid through the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we're working on some creative things behind the scenes. Some little creative projects we'll have under our belt. But we'll talk more about that closer to the end of the year.
Yeah.
I know we previously talked about creating some collection of our own personal Canterbury Tales.
Yeah.
So that is kind of along the lines of our ideas of under our belt projects right now.
Oh yeah.
But keep on the lookout for that. Keep on the lookout for that. We'll definitely be making announcements the more we kind of dive into planning these ideas.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But right now, let's just say we have a lot of plans.
A lot of plans. A lot of pins that we're finally going to take off the board.
Taking them off.
Get done. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, just the pursuit of creating things fuels me so much.
Yeah.
Like, I called Maggie the other night. I was like, call me when you get out of work. And she got out of work and called me. And I was like, okay, I know that this is so far down the line, but imagine the questing hour had a stand at a Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
And we sold some things at a table and we were
Mhm.
able to walk around and meet people. And like, I feel like that would be such our scene
Right.
to, kind of throw
Yeah,
ourselves
just
out
be
there.
a part of the community.
Just be a
Yeah.
part of the community.
Oh, it'd be so
And
great.
I think that would be so
Mhm.
freaking fun to see ourselves like next year at a Ren Fair.
Mhm.
And so I think, what I want to see from this podcast from here and for the next few months
Mhm.
is to maybe get 50 to 100 followers and subscribers on all of our
Yeah.
channels and stuff.
I think so.
And that's on us for being more consistent with posting and sharing
Oh,
and
for
stuff
sure.
like
Oh,
that.
for sure.
But
Mhm.
I would love to see if we can hit 100 on everything.
Yeah. We're like halfway there on a lot of them.
We're so
Mhm.
close.
Mhm.
So it would be nice to have like 100 across the board. I think would be a decent goal. I want to find some sort of event or podcasters community where we can kind of like network and meet other podcasters. Because I
Mhm.
know for like streamers and gamers and stuff, we have something like TwitchCon. Like, Twitch kind of puts it on, but like
Mhm.
podcasters don't have something like Twitch, I feel like.
No
Where like
PodCon.
yeah, there's no PodCon. Does Spotify have a convention?
I
But
wonder
that's
if there is a
also
PodCon. I
like
don't know. It sounds too good to be true.
I mean, it
PodCon.
sounds too good to be true.
PodCon.
Maggie and I are going to be looking that up. It'd be cool to
Mhm.
go to some sort of event. I feel like as the questing hour entity.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I definitely want to bring in a lot of Maggie and I's a lot more creative aspects, like creating the theme song. I want to
Mhm.
bring some more of those things into the actual podcast episodes,
Mhm.
like how we did before with recreating the medieval art of
Yes.
each other
Yeah.
and writing our own Canterbury tales.
Mhm.
And so I want to do more things like that on top of having our guests on the channel. So those are some of my goals for the next few months for the podcast.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals, Maggie?
For the podcast specifically?
For the podcast specifically.
I definitely want to grow our community in terms of people directly involved in the podcast, which I think is going to help a lot, having like special guests and people that have like special interests that they can talk about on the podcast. I would also love if there's any like artists out there or animators or people that have experience doing those things to kind of collaborate with them and see if they have anything for us, like special like logos or animators who want to animate our theme song.
Hint, hint.
Things like that.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Just being able to, like reach out creatively and kind of create a community and get help from people for the things that specifically we don't have that much experience in.
Yeah.
And I think, and definitely finding a podcasting community would be awesome to get hints and tips from people that have been doing it for a lot longer than us. Because we've learned a lot, but we're still like, it's our first time.
Yeah. I definitely think like one of the podcasters I listened to, she used to be like a travel vlogger.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So she basically like lost her entire form of income and everything like that. And she was like, and then I started this podcast and I didn't think that it was gonna really do anything or whatever. And it kind of just ended up popping off because people liked hearing about my horrible dating stories and stuff like that. And it, and now she has like a whole community. Excuse me. And now she has like a whole like big community and a Patreon and things like that. And I just like I love the idea of connecting with all these other podcasters and like learning from their experiences and like, branching out the network that is going to be the questing hour,
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's like, what if there was a TikTok video that was like, it was this girl planning like a birthday party for her friend, but it was like a at-home Renaissance fair, and everyone had
I
to
saw
dress
that.
up.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they did like games and stuff and pretended to like behead each other when they lost. And I was like, that is the best thing in the
so
world. Like,
great,
imagine if we as a community came together and was like LARPing, or like
My dream.
like I would like, those are some things like where I mean, like, obviously those things are like way down the line, but like we want this. We want this to be a community. We want this to be so big.
In my mind, it's more than just a podcast. It's an adventure, and it's a whole project that is partly a podcast, but it's partly a YouTube series,
a lifestyle,
and social media, and a lifestyle, because it's more than just us talking. It's us encouraging each other and the listeners to change their lives and live their lives in a different way. And we just tell you guys about it through a podcast.
Pretty much.
But really, it's about our entire lives.
Truly.
So I think down the line, oh my God, imagine like Questing Our Con or something like that.
Questing Our Con!
And it's just just like a series of like Renaissance fair-esque events.
Yeah.
With emphasis on like self-care.
Yes!
So great.
Oh my God.
It'd be so beautiful. Yeah.
It would be beautiful.
Yeah.
So the dream.
The dreams.
The dream. So obviously Maggie and I are in it still. And if anything, our passion has just grown more and more the more that we do this podcast.
Yeah.
What's it called? So yeah, that's some stuff to think about and look forward to for the upcoming few months of this podcast. So like I had mentioned previously a few weeks ago before our break, we're going to break the podcast down, kind of categorizing it by seasons, by labeling it with like the year and the part of the year that we are recording. So this is season 1.2 because it's our first year of recording, and it's the second part of the year after our break. And then after this one, the next one will be 1.3 and so on and so forth until next year when it becomes 2.1. So that's how we're categorizing our seasons and breaking down the podcast. So each season, you'll probably have some more things to look forward to, and we'll switch up some things and whatnot, and always changing and growing bigger and better with the knowledge that we, figure out. Yeah. So Maggie and I decided, since we're kind of through the specific levels of the hero's journey, that we wanted to focus more on medieval history, if you will, throughout this season, and kind of take each episode on Mondays with our medieval stories and figureheads and people in history throughout the medieval times that you may or may not know, and talk about their life and what they've done, and take things from, what we talk about to create a quest for you. Yeah.
So just, deep diving into people's lives, hearing about real historical people that existed, or, like Lancelot, King Arthur, who may or may not have existed.
Even fictional figures.
Yeah. Just people like that from history that we can, take inspiration from and say, how can this story line up with my story that I'm going through right now and my personal journey, and then creating a quest based on that. And I think it's going to be really cool. So, Ari, do you have any specific people in mind that you're excited to talk about?
I have a few, because there is a lot of like historical people that like I didn't think of being in the medieval into Renaissance era, I guess you could say. And so I'm really excited to talk a lot about them, because there's a lot of people that don't get their recognition, I feel like, historically, that deserve their recognition, So we have so many writers and scholars, but I'm really excited to talk about Dante.
Yes, I'm so very excited.
For a book, I'm doing a lot of research on the circles of hell.
Wait.
And of course, Dante's Inferno
I'm about to start reading it.
One of the more famous pieces of literature. Like everyone knows what Dante's Inferno is. But you know, who is Dante? What do we know about him besides the Inferno? You know, he's an Italian writer, and then what?
And then what else? Yeah.
And then what else? So I'm really excited
made an album about him.
That is true.
A whole album about him.
A whole album.
Can't wait to get into that.
Yeah, I think the Dante episode is going to be really long because there's so much to say, and I'm super excited to talk about it. Yeah. But even this one was the funniest one that I'm kind of excited to, I guess, bring up or mention. But Marco Polo is a real person and not just a swimming game, guys. Not just a swimming game. Not just a swimming pool game.
Nope.
So I'm really excited for that because I feel like in times in the medieval into Renaissance, like the world was so fresh and new.
Yeah.
And so there are so many of these people where like it was something to be a writer and explorer and not like a lawyer or a court member or businessman. It was like philosopher, dreamer, and like and like what's your profession? Oh, I'm a dreamer.
I sit around and think.
I sit around and tap my chin.
Yeah, you know, Nostradamus?
Yeah.
Was like, his job was to just like think about the future. And I'm like, bro.
Okay. I want to be Nostradamus.
Right? His job was to be, I think this is going to happen. And everyone's like, okay, here's $1 billion, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so I am super excited to just kind of like almost like time travel, essentially.
I know.
And I love that. So we're formatting it like Monday, the longer episodes are going to be the history point of views. And then on Thursday, you'll have your guest POVs with a bit of shorter episodes, but new perspectives with their questions, experiences, advice, whatever it means. And then we'll have our guests give you a quest as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm super excited about.
I'm excited to hear like other people's, I guess, thoughts on giving people quests, you know?
Right. Like what, like when they think about a quest.
When they think about a quest, what are you going to tell me to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, give me an adventure to go on, please, sir.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool.
Oh my gosh. I'm just so excited.
I know. It's going to be so great.
Yeah. I'm excited. So that's what the podcast is looking like for this season, you guys.
In terms of personal growth and personal goals, what are you looking for this next season of our lives, not only the podcast?
I was actually thinking about this, and I was writing it down yesterday because I have I have this list. I'm trying to get back into my routines because COVID really kind of, every time I'm sick, it always messes with my stuff. My routine was kind of falling apart a little bit before that. So now that I'm coming out of the sickness, my routines are like slowly coming back. Like this morning, I was able to get out of bed on time, which is nice. But I'm like, I gotta start going back to like writing things down, writing a list. And where did I put it? I had a paper yesterday because I ripped it out of one of my notebooks. But I was looking at it, and it was a goal list for 2021, our junior year.
Yeah.
And the goal list was like or 2021 to 2022, I think. But the goal list were things like there was a bunch of stuff on there, and I was looking at it, and I was able to cross some off.
Okay.
Like one of the ones I had on there was skates, like roller skates.
Nice.
And then me and you went roller skating.
Yeah.
And there was a few other ones that were on there, and I was able to cross it off. And I was like looking back at it, and I was like, wait, I actually achieved some of the things that I wanted to. And at the time, I didn't give it the recognition it deserved when I did complete them, because I, maybe wasn't thinking about how like I put my mind to the goal and I actually did it.
Yeah.
And so I felt really like satisfied and proud of myself looking back at the list, even though it was a few years ago, because I was like, dang, wait, I have come like we were talking about, like we've talked about this before, like looking back and realizing like how far you've climbed up the mountain
Right.
And looking back at the bottom being like, oh shit, like this looked
I was all
hard
the
at
way
the
down there.
bottom. I was all the way down there and now I'm at the top. And
Uh-huh.
that's this like the satisfaction I felt yesterday looking at that list. I was like, I mean, I didn't complete everything, but some of them I'm like, they cost money, so I understand why I haven't done it, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like one of the other ones was to go to Puerto Rico, and I did that because I did it on spring break,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, some other things on there, and I was just like, dang, this is I'm proud of myself. And so I think that some of my personal quests for this upcoming, I want to say season, is to publish another book,
Yeah.
self-publish another book, and get to 10,000 words in my novel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my first actual like book, I guess, instead of a collection of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I want to do some. Maggie and I are planning on going to a ball in February.
Yes, we are.
And I'm so excited. And so
can't wait.
one of my things is to I have to like seriously crack down and get back into the gym. Because I want to make sure that like I look and feel good, but also now that I'm coming out of my sick, I'm like I feel like my body would have an easier time recovering if like not that I wasn't fat, but if I was more strong. I feel like it's a better way to put it.
100%. Yeah,
You know
feel
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I just need to get, oh, my endurance. I need to give my
Endurance,
body
yeah.
like the endurance and stamina that it
Yeah.
needs to carry itself. Because I am fat and there's nothing wrong with that. I am a plus size woman.
Mhm.
But I just need to give my body the ability to take care of itself so that when I do get sick, I can just like kind of bounce back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, so I really the gym right by me has a swimming pool, and now
I
that
love
it's
that.
summer,
Mhm.
I want to get in all the swimming time I can because I have nowhere to swim in my city.
Mhm.
And I'm not a big fan of public pools. So I either they're under chlorinated or over chlorinated, and I
Oh
don't want
yeah.
either one of
Uh-huh.
those things. So I want to get into swimming, and it was so easy to do in my hometown because my cousin had a pool, so I was able to like go with my cousins every day and just like swim, swim, swim. But I cannot do that, so I want to subscribe to this gym, get my swim on,
Get my swim
um,
on.
get my swim on, and I need to. I was thinking about this because I was looking at my calendar. I was like, I need to figure out a system that works for organizing and managing my social media because I managing the podcast and managing streaming is a little difficult only because like I
Yeah.
tend to forget to post on certain socials or forget to post here, forget to post there, and it's like I can only do so much.
Yeah.
So I need to figure out like a system that works where like I'm posting about the podcast on Mondays, posting about streaming on Tuesdays, something like that that like actually works. So I need to explore a lot of that. Playing around with routine. So yeah, book. I want to make another short film. I don't know what
So
statement
fun.
I want to say,
Yeah.
but Maggie and I made a short film before, and it was so fun to do.
I just
So
watched that again recently. I showed
me
my
too.
brother's girlfriend, and I was like, I miss doing this. It was so
I
fun.
miss like just
Yeah.
doing this stuff, and it
Mhm.
was easy because the equipment was available to us. It was part of our job, you know.
Mhm.
And I wish there was something like that again, where
Right.
like I could just do it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I joined a starter up magazine.
Ooh.
So I want to publish more articles with them.
Mhm.
My first one came out already. So
Nice.
I'm really excited for that. But I want to publish more articles with them. That'd be really freaking nice.
Mhm.
And I want to drastically dye my hair.
I want you to do that too.
I have 2 ideas. I'll send you the pictures.
Please, 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 please.
But what are your personal goals?
Okay, my personal goals are I was also thinking about the social media thing. That's another one of
Yes.
mine. I definitely want to like pick a day, be consistent,
Mm-hmm.
make specific posts about specific things, and like time them out. So it'd be not just like, oh, I should make a post today, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and then do it. Yeah. I want to try to be more sustainable, especially in terms of
Ooh,
clothing.
that's a good one.
I be shopping. I be shopping.
True.
But I mean, I have the ability to make my own clothes and like alter the things I have to make me want to wear them again, just in a different way. So I want to
Yeah.
definitely make that a priority instead of going out and buying things, using the things I already have and either making something new out of them or changing them in a way that makes me want to wear them more. So yeah,
Mm.
it's just like less
Yeah. Less
buying,
waste.
less waste is definitely what I want
Less
to do.
less consuming, less
Yeah.
waste. You're not giving
Mhm.
into capitalism.
Yeah, because like I have the skills I need to do it. I just gotta sit down and do it, which is my big
Yeah.
thing. And the other thing in terms of like, like my brain, the like emotional side is recently I've been being very honest and like letting my raw emotions show,
Yeah.
and it feels really good to not
Oh.
to not be like, this is what people are expecting me to say. Like there's a certain level of emotions that is like socially acceptable to show, and
Yeah.
like certain things that you're allowed to say and do so people don't think you're like crazy or whatever. But
Yeah.
so I don't know, I often feel myself like holding back in order to perform for people, to like make myself more palatable for them. But when I let myself say and feel and do exactly what I want to in that moment, it feels so much better. So
Mm.
that is definitely what I'm going to be working on for the next season of my life.
Yeah.
It's just being unapologetically who I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be such a hard thing too, especially like if you're breaking out of a shell of someone that's like a people pleaser or
Yeah.
something, Because like I know I have friends that like something like being kind of unapologetic and openly
Hmm.
honest has come easy to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't understand how you could not. And I'm like,
Well, I'm anxious.
well, well, let me tell you, I'm medicated now.
Yeah. I'm anxious and I was born to perform.
No,
So
seriously.
hiding my true intentions comes very easy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. And also like taking time to actually consider what I am feeling in the moment,
Mm,
instead of trying to like hide it from myself as well and like put on a performance for my own brain. Just sitting
yeah,
down and being like, okay, what am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? Makes it a lot easier to process and get through those emotions instead of just
true.
like being like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. And
I love that for you.
it's so crazy. Yeah.
She's like,
I'm going crazy. Yeah. So my goal is to just be crazy.
be crazy.
I've probably said that like in current events, in the life of current events, I've realized it is impossible for me to be a cool girl and to play it cool. That is not who I am. Anytime I've tried to play it cool, it does not work and it
It
makes me
doesn't
miserable.
work.
It makes me so sad. So I'm just gonna be a crazy girl, and people are gonna have to match my freak.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm just born to be a crazy girl.
That was smooth. I, that was so smooth. And somebody's just gonna have to match my freak.
Someone's gonna have to match my freak. Somebody gonna match my
Match
freak.
my freak.
But yeah,
I love it.
that's
That's
what I'm working on.
perfect. Yeah, I definitely like I I feel like along the lines of matching free. I just like I want to go wild in a way that like I used to do anything and everything to afford to go to a concert
Yeah.
because the feeling I get from being at a concert is indescribable.
It's
And I
so
have not
cool,
been
yeah.
to a concert in years because I can't
Mhm.
afford it.
They're too
And
expensive.
so they're just so expensive
Mhm.
now. But like I want to find more opportunities that feel like the feeling that I get from being in a concert. Like the thrill and the adventure and just like partying but not like partying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to find more things that feel that way.
Mhm.
I think summertime always brings about an adventurous side to a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And then, as soon as summer's here, people are either like, oh, it's too hot, summer, or, they want to be adventurous and whatnot. And then summer's gone and they're like, oh, I miss summer.
Right.
And I think it's important to kind of, sit in that a little bit, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
find that adventure and be present and not want it to be Halloween or Christmas,
I love it.
even
Yeah.
though I'm already thinking about it.
That's definitely something I do is I hate the heat. I hate being outside in the summer. But there's like so many things during the summer that are just like
That
boat days, playing golf, being outside, like
water balloon
bonfires,
fight.
water balloon fights.
I haven't had one of those in so long.
Yeah, so many things that only exist outside in the summer that are
Mhm.
like irreplaceable.
Truly.
You definitely need to seize those things and do them while you can.
Which
This
brings
summer, this
us
summer. Yeah.
to our
My
quest.
quest! Oh, that was smooth.
Thank
We're
you.
good. We're good. We're
Our
professionals.
quest we know what we're doing, guys.
Yeah.
Our quest for you is a good little summer quest, a little seasonal quest for you, and that is to create your summer bucket list. I want
Yes.
you to think about all the things you miss, you love, you want from summer, and write them down on a nice, cute little list, decorated if you have to, and almost a summer vision board, if you will. A little throwback to our earlier quests.
Yes.
And I want you to picture what your best summer looks like.
Mhm.
So write it down. Everything you want to do it, and complete your bucket list
Oh, I love
before
it.
the fall.
Before the fall. Do
For
it.
the fall, do
Okay.
it.
What's number one on your summer bucket list? Or any other numbers. Doesn't have to be number one.
My favorite is a classic, and I think that is campfire and s'mores.
Oh yeah, you can't beat campfire and s'mores.
You can't have a summer without s'mores.
Exactly. It ain't summer.
Come on now.
It ain't summer if it ain't s'mores.
And normally, so this year was the first year, actually, not to get a little like sad, but this year was the first year since I was like a kid that I haven't gone camping with my family.
Oh yeah.
For the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the weirdest thing in the world. It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like time hasn't progressed. Like the 4th is still in the future.
Right.
And I'm like
yeah.
waiting for it to come,
Mhm.
but it's not coming until next year. So it feels a little bittersweet to like, be saving the money and having the time right now to kind of record this. But I kind of hate that I didn't go camping because it's one of my favorite things ever. So normally that's when I'd be having my campfire and s'mores.
Yeah.
So now I gotta figure out some alternative being in my apartment to having a campfire and s'mores.
Yeah. You got a microwave? You can microwave them.
I do. I used to make them on like a little oven, a cookie sheet.
Yeah.
And I would like put them together and put them in the oven because it
Cute.
kind of perfectly melts the chocolate.
It gets a nice.
You don't get that like smoky toasty campfire flavor, but the feeling's still there. You gotta make it work. I'll do a little moment where I put the fire on the TV and
yeah. If you have a gas stove, just like cook it over one of those.
Yeah, cook it one of those. What is on your list, Maggie?
I haven't gone swimming yet, so I definitely need to go swimming, which is crazy. I might just do that right after we're done recording.
Yeah.
Just go see if my pool key still works in my old apartment. But
yes.
Definitely have to do that. And then I want to break out the roller skates. There's a really nice park right by my house.
Ooh, you gotta learn a roller skate trick.
I know, I want to do tricks. I want to like do it backwards and stuff. So
you gotta do I was gonna say you gotta do the backwards thing where they like they jump on their heels and they roll backwards.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I want to do it so bad. So that's definitely what I want to do. I want to get the skates back out. and get into it because they were expensive. So I need to use them.
Gotta get their use in.
Yeah. Sometimes I ride them like around the house and stuff, but I should, take them outside so I'm not ruining my floors.
I know. That's what I was doing too, because like
Mhm.
I remember when we went, I was like, I wish I had like knee pads and elbow pads.
I
'cause,
know,
like,
yeah.
I was killing myself out there
Yeah,
because
falling
not all
every day.
pavement is like nice and flat or smooth.
You hit one
And
rock, you're done.
You hit run rock and you're done. I like dove into a hill to avoid death. Like I remember tripping. Oh my gosh. But yeah, those are some good ones.
Oh yeah.
I went swimming a couple weekends ago and I was like in that water for 5 hours straight.
God,
I was like,
I
worth
love
it.
it. Yeah, I love
I got
it.
the worst sunburn of my life, but it was worth it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some ideas for y'all's bucket lists. Be sure
Yes.
to get your inspiration from Pinterest if you need, because
Oh, yeah.
Pinterest is literally a lifesaver. Truly. But yeah. And complete those lists. Get her
Those
done.
lists. Get her done. We'll post our bucket lists on our social medias as well, so you can get inspiration from those.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
make it
mine
nice and cute. Yeah.
today.
Today.
Because I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it.
I'll be thinking.
So I be thinking. I be thinking.
I'll be thinking.
Insert Beyonce. Alrighty, travelers. Be sure to share your bucket list with us at #MyQuestingHour on all of our socials at Questing Hour Podcast, HR Podcast.
Except for Twitter, it's Questing Hour.
Except for Twitter, Questing Hour.
We're everywhere.
We're literally available on everything.
Yeah. Just look for us.
Anything you think of will probably be there.
Yeah. And you can find these episodes and all of our past episodes and all of our future episodes on YouTube and Spotify at the Questing Hour Podcast. And we'll see you back here on Monday for a super cool, historical, magical, medieval quest.
Yes!
Huzzah!
Let's go.